Breaking news, the Eagles have signed yet another wide receiver. This comes after a sneaky good signing last night. Howie Roseman is on a roll, and today we'll look at some of the Eagles' newest players and how they may fit into the squad. What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome back into A to Z Sports Philadelphia. You know the drill. Hit the like button if you enjoy this content and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the coverage. We are back, and just a little while ago, the Eagles make a huge splash signing. I want to get your thoughts on where you think the Eagles are at so far this offseason. Give me your overall grade so far down below. In my opinion, probably has to be an A so far, right? I mean, there's still areas that need to be addressed. There are positions, that need to be looked at. But right now, it seems like all of the little things, all the little margins, all the little areas, that helped contribute to the Eagles' debacle last year are all being looked at and analyzed and trying to be improved upon. So shout out to Howie Roseman. He's getting the job done so far. But of course, we have the draft coming up, and I'm sure there will probably be some big moves down the line, so we'll see what happens. But let's start it off with the breaking news. That is right, the Philadelphia Eagles go out and they sign wide receiver Paris Campbell to a one-year deal. One-year deal for Paris Campbell, former Giants receiver this past year, but before that, he was on the Indianapolis Colts for his entire career, 26 years old, former second-round pick. And in my opinion, I think this is a great signing with some potential upside. He had a breakout year in 2022 and then went to the Giants last year where, really, let's be honest, the whole organization was chaotic, right? I mean, everything was kind of falling apart. And ever since that first game when they got whooped, you just knew they probably were not going to have that good of a season. So Paris Campbell gets to hit the free agent market, and he decides to come on over to Philadelphia. Like I said, in 2022, he had 63 catches, a breakout season for 623 yards, and he runs a 4.3 40 along with a lot of other interesting characteristics that he brings, a little more speed and versatility on the Eagles offense. Obviously, this team has been looking for a wide receiver number 3 because Devontae and AJ are your guys, but then, Quez Watkins has surely had his ups and downs, and just felt like they didn't have that consistent number 3 this past year. They tried to get Julio Jones back in action, but, outside of maybe a game or two, he just did not have much left in the tank. So they go out and they sign Devontae Parker a couple weeks ago, and now they bring in Paris Campbell. Howie Roseman trying to build some competition here for training camp, and I like it. I really do like this signing. Shout out to Jeff McClain, who mentioned that the Eagles actually wanted Paris Campbell. Matter of fact, back in the 2019 draft, when they went out and selected maybe one of the worst draft picks in Eagles history, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, they actually wanted to go for Paris Campbell, but it says here that Jeff Lurie's clout led the Eagles to J-Jaw rather than Paris Campbell. His affinity for the Stanford wide receiver was based partly on analytics department, but it says among outside wide receivers, Campbell was slotted behind Marquise Brown and ahead of N'Keal Harry on the draft board, so probably could have been a first-round pick. And it says the Eagles also had A.J. Brown rated higher than Campbell, but primarily as a slot. So in all seriousness, when it comes down to it, Howie Roseman finally gets one of the guys that he was targeting, and he gets his guy. So, Howie likes to, I'd say, keep tabs on some of these players, right? And it's good to see him finally on the Eagles. Here are his stats by year, 5 years in the NFL. Like I said, it really has not done much, has not lived up to the hype, but in 2022, and keep in mind, this is actually when the Colts were going downhill and plummeting, he goes out and, again, 3 touchdowns, 623 yards, and you got to hope that coming into a better organization with better weapons around him, obviously the focus will not be on Paris Campbell if he ends up being wide receiver number 3, and, maybe he can come out here and feast and have a good, brand new opportunity, because the Giants certainly did not give that to him this past year. They didn't even have pretty much a quarterback for more than a couple games at a time stay in there. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Welcome to Philadelphia. And I do think he'll probably be a little bit of a better option than Devontae Parker because Campbell's only 26, whereas Devontae Parker is 31 and does have a better career sample size. However, like we mentioned before, he's been rated as one of the worst wide receivers over the past couple seasons, and his numbers have started to decline. It just does not look like he really has much left. So Paris Campbell, how do we feel? Give me your thoughts down below. Now, that isn't it. The Eagles actually made another big signing last night, which nobody's talking about, and it's pretty underrated in my opinion. We'll talk about that in just a second, but we got to jump over and give a quick shout out to our great sponsor here of today's show, and that is BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using our code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the move that was made last night. The Eagles pick up some very solid depth at a position they are lacking. That is the nickel position, the nickel corner. They signed Tyler Hall to a one-year deal. Tyler Hall, former Raider, hops over to Philadelphia. Jake here on Twitter says the Eagles are signing him to a one-year deal. 25 years old, has played slot cornerback his whole NFL career. He was an undrafted free agent in 2020. And look at the nickel corner position. The Eagles just have not had the stability. We hoped and we tried to give extended chances to Avonte Maddox. Unfortunately, he hit the market because, let's be honest, he just cannot stay on the field. Very good player, very good, talented player, but just could never stay on the field. And it's time for the Eagles to go in a different direction. So they signed Tyler Hall, and he actually has experience at many different positions. He's played safety, he's played corner, he's played nickel corner, but according to all the reports, Eagles do see him as a nickel. And yeah, I mean, that's certainly an area that needs to be addressed. I'm sure they'll probably hit on someone in the draft, but I like this signing. I really do. One-year deal, low risk, high reward. And Alex Manfreda here, he actually covers the Raiders, and this is what he had to say about the signing. He says, great pickup for Philly. Tyler Hall is one of those guys that just does everything well. Great in coverage, can apply pressure on blitzes, rarely misses tackles, has never missed more than one in a season. Oh, that is music to my ears, ladies and gentlemen. The guy has not missed more than one tackle in a season? Bro, the Eagles have had a plethora of tackling issues. So the fact that you get a guy like this who just seems like a very smart player, guy who can be plugged into different situations, a versatile defensive player who doesn't miss tackles. I mean, it is beautiful. He's going to be out there obviously fighting, competing for that spot. And, hopefully he comes out and can make a name for himself. I'm surprised it's only a one-year deal. I guess, since the Raiders kind of went downhill this past season, they were willing to let guys go, and maybe their value is not as high based on how bad their defense was, but I like this signing. I really think that Howie Roseman is trying to pick up those value contracts. He's trying to find those diamonds in the rough again on one-year deals, and if he ends up, proving to be a productive corner, this is incredible for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You don't have to spend too much, and if it doesn't work out, guess what? You let him go. So I really like these moves so far from Howie Roseman. I think he's trying to get creative yet again. Paris Campbell and Tyler Hall, welcome to the Philadelphia Eagles. And the list continues. We will see how things play out in the draft. But as of right now, seems like Howie is trying to address every single positional need. So we will see what happens. Give me all your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.